Hi, I'm Todd Henderson. Today we're going to show you how to install the Chevy Equinox GMC Terrain Ionic brackets. Let's go ahead and get started. There's a piece of plastic trim that runs along the bottom of the rocker panel. That's got to come out of the way. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab it and pull it to the side. It pulls it right off the clips. And that comes down. Okay, now this is the front bracket. It's going to go to the frame just behind the wheel. What we've got, this is the medium-sized bolt plate. You got 3 bolt plates. This is the middle-sized one. It's going to slip right up into this oval hole in the frame. Turn it 90 degrees to where it can hang down. Then we're going to take our longest bracket. It's going to go right up over top of that bolt. I'm going to slide a washer over top of there and a serrated flange nut. And all we're going to do with this serrated flange nut is put it on a little bit. We're not even put it all the way hand tight just yet. We want it to be able to wiggle around a little bit so the bracket can hang down in place. Also for the first bracket, we've got 2 different size support plates. We're gonna use a shorter one since this is the Equinox. If we had the Terrain, we would use the longer one. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our clamp assembly and it's going to put together just like so. We're gonna go right up against the bracket. We've got a 9/16 head bolt that's going to tighten right down into that. And then we'll tighten that bolt down. All right, now we're going to take our clamp assembly. We're going to take our very long bolt, run it down through. We're going to see where this is going to line up. We're going to tighten down the clamp to our pitch weld. We're pushing up on our support plate while we do that. Once we get that in place, we're going to tighten that down with a 3/8. Now with it tightened down just a little bit, we're going to go ahead and slide the bracket right up into the bolt. We're going to attach a washer and another serrated flange nut. And here, we're just going to get the serrated flange nut started on the threads to where the bottom of the bolt is even with the end of the nut. We're going to let that bracket hang. All right, now we're going back to the second location for a bracket. We're getting the second longest bracket, also the smallest bolt plate. We're going to set the bolt plate right in place, and we're going to install this one just like we did the first one, where it's not all the way tightened down. We're going to have it just loose for right now. For the rear bracket, we're going to use the shortest bracket and the longest bolt plate. And install just the same as the other 2. Now we've already slid the bolts into the board. We're going to set the board in place on top of the brackets and line the bolts up to where they slide into the board. Next, we're going to loosely install our serrated flange nuts onto the bolts coming out of the board to the bracket. We don't want to tighten them down all the way at this time because we still want to be able to go back, line everything up. We're going to use a 1/2-inch deep well socket. We're going to go ahead and tighten down the hardware. This raises the board up. What we'll want to do is at the same time as we tighten the hardware, we want to make sure we're lining up the board to the body of the vehicle and do any minor adjustments after that. Now, once we made sure that all our hardware is tightened, we'll want to go back and tighten up our 9/16 hardware for our clamp setup, and also tighten down our lock nut, which is also a 9/16 on our clamp. That way it can't loosen back up. That concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts. We're here to help you out.